Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and Klein just released an insulated 12-inch adjustable wrench rated to 1000 volts. Part number on this guy is the 47130INS for insulation, and yes, it does pass, of course, the ASTM F1505. It is a triple insulated tool or triple coated tool. It's got this black layer, it's got this orange layer, and then underneath it all is a white layer. So way down here it says destroy tool if any damage is found, and one way you can tell if there's any damage or wear is you will see white. And that's something that Klein has done in the past with their other tools. So you can see this white layer under here. You wouldn't notice that anywhere else. But if that white, which is the entire under insulation on this, ever shows up, then definitely that's the end. It's like tire wear. Time to change. But let's have a talk about adjustable wrenches that are insulated. There are a few others on the market. This one sells for about $61. I'll put a link to one of the vendors that has it below. There are a few others within the ballpark. Most of them are 10-inch wrenches. This is how big a 10-inch wrench is. So you can see there is a significant difference when you jump up to a 12. As far as the opening on this, it looks like it's, well, here's 1 inch, half inch. Looks like, what, 11/16 maybe is what that goes to. How does that compare? Well, here's a snap-on 12-inch regular adjustable wrench. You can see that the Klein is actually larger. If you get the other 12-inch snap-on adjustable wrench that's got the wide jaws, you can see now it's a little bit smaller. So depending on what you need. In this case, what you'd want is insulation. And most insulated tools do have these big kind of hand guards right up front. A lot of insulated tools are kind of this rubbery material. This, in fact, has got some squish to it. But that's designed to keep your hand not only from sliding up, but also from getting anywhere near where that arc could jump off of the tool to your finger. So something to think about there. And that got me thinking. I use a lot of adjustable wrenches. You know, on this channel, I'm a big fan of them. Even in a world filled with plier wrenches, I am still a big fan of adjustable wrenches. I carry them, I use them, I think they're great. And there are all kinds of materials. Here's a Countycom titanium one, again for non-magnetic, but you might be in a non-sparking, you know, flammable gas environment. So here's an Ampco aluminum beryllium. But you know from especially a previous video yesterday, the day before, that bronze, or not beryllium, this one's bronze, aluminum bronze, that bronze is actually an alloy of mostly copper. So copper is highly conductive. So this would probably, and aluminum is so conductive that it's often used in wiring. This is probably the most conductive wrench on the planet. What we want is the opposite. Now this obviously has a chromoly steel. That steel is highly conductive, but then it's got a thick insulation cover. Well, except up here. That's what got me thinking. You know, this one, it never occurred to me because you can actually get this onto the fastener just by grabbing a hold of the fastener. Whoops, grabbing a hold of it like that. You know, you can just force it on there, and then you can literally do whatever you need to do. This one, you adjust here. So I started playing around with it, thinking, okay, what do I have here? This is about a 1-inch nut. So I'm going to roll that up, actually 1 1/4 inches. So if I thought this was an 1 1/4 inch nut, and I go to my table here and roll it down to, is that 1 1/4 inch there? Looks like it. And then I could get that. Is it enough to stick to it like, you know, a lot of adjustable wrenches? No, but there's not much play. So it would be easy to set this, but look how I'm holding it. I have a strong muscle memory to using these things. I mean, that's what I liked about them, is I could use them, you know, around corners and blind areas, you know, up under things in the dark, and I knew how to fit these and what it was supposed to do, which way to spin it. This one, I have to keep my hand below the hand guard, yet the control is up here. Now, all of them are like that because that's how adjustable wrenches work, and you can't exactly, you know, get above this because you've got a conductive area here. Could you make it composite? Possibly. But this is actually a really strong jaw. When I put this out, especially on a bigger nut here, you know, and if I cinch it in, really, I mean, it locks in. It is a well-made tool. In fact, it's grabbing it all on its own just so easily. But if you're in a hot environment, you know, you can't do that. So it got me thinking, and where I went with it was this. Remember this old thing? This is the Black & Decker auto wrench. What if there was some kind of a combination tool, you know, that Klein had that had a adjustable wrench, but a switch, and you could easily put that with a pressure switch down here that controlled that. So I could imagine, you know, being able to just push that button, you know, to cinch it up on something or back it off. Just a thought. Klein needs another tool, a more expensive tool, but there were other reasons this didn't last. Battery-powered wrench, but it's still pretty cool. Anyway, I started thinking about that. I thought you really got to be careful about that muscle memory, thinking I'm going to go up to a fastener and immediately want to make the adjustment, that you've got to adjust it prior based on something. Of course, you could go up and see, you know, I need to tighten it just a hair, back it off. But I'm crossing that barrier. Just a thought. But as far as the fit finish, beautiful. It's made in South Korea. And of course, they do say, do not adjust when in contact with energized fasteners. So that should be an obvious thing, except I might have, you know, a lot of years of doing something else, so I would have to break that habit. Just got me kind of wondering about that. I think there are different tangents, different directions you could go. However, being a handy tool, absolutely. And they do talk about this as being something that's got extended reach, so if you're working up high. So it made me wonder, why isn't there a lanyard hole? Now, this one does have a lanyard hole, and it is 1,000-volt rated. I don't know, you know, this one doesn't, this one doesn't. Is a 1,000-volt rated tool not supposed to be tethered? I'm not sure. I don't know what the rules are on that. Maybe somebody wants to jump in. But it was kind of interesting. Then I thought, well, what's with the shape? What's up behind that? Is there something to that? I don't know. But anyway, it feels great in the hand. I do like the black and orange. I mean, it's just, besides, you know, it's a nice Halloween wrench, right? But it does definitely feel good in the hand. And having that hand guard, I think that hopefully will remind you. It's also designed for Class 2 gloves, those big rubbery ones, like kind of like what these things are made of. And so it's designed to be operated in the hand with gloves. But having that adjustability, I just think it's one more thing you should pay attention to. But I've never heard of a problem. Maybe somebody wants to chime in if they have, and it's certainly not the first insulated adjustable wrench out there. But it is a new one, and it is affordable, especially for a 12-inch. I mean, it's right in there with the 10 inches, even under some of the 10-inch prices. And it's got that triple coating. So if you see any white, time to probably, I think the wrenches might be still fine. I would just make sure you stripped the insulated handle off of it, and then you could keep using it as a regular wrench, but certainly not for something 1,000-volt rated. I was going to pull out my zapper and zap it, but I think I know exactly what's going to happen, and that's absolutely nothing. So anyway, there it is, the Klein Tools 12-inch insulated adjustable wrench. Let me know your thoughts. And with that, Doc out.